What is up, you guys? It is your boy Phoenix Brent here, and welcome to today's video. And as you can see, when I am doing this, or not when I'm doing this, but as you can tell, I am doing something a little bit different this time. Normally, I record it on my phone, but since I've had a little bit of complications recording it on my phone, I have decided I am going to be recording it from now on this Fortnite map. So shout out to this creator for making this map. It's a very just simple map, literally. Um, and it's kind of a win-win here for me, because one, I get XP on Fortnite just for being here, and two, I also can look at this beautiful stuff while I'm talking. And three, I also don't have to worry about my phone overheating anymore. So it's a win-win-win there. If you guys don't like it like this, I will go back. I just kind of prefer it like this because one, it's peaceful, and two, I don't have to worry about burning my freaking phone. And three, I struggle to look at the camera because I'm too busy looking at stuff on my Chromebook anyway. So yeah, that's how things are gonna go. I actually really shouldn't put on my headset. Let me put on my headset then. But before we get in today's video, like and subscribe. We are on the road to getting to 700 subscribers. Also, I have a playlist of all the teams in the NFL on my channel. If it's not there yet, it's probably because
It yet. But anyways, enough said. Let's get in today's video and start off with the Titans and their free agency. They had definitely one of the most interesting off seasons out of any team, I think, on this list. For sure. I mean, for starters, they just paid Big Jeff, the highest paid interior defensive lineman, which I think is pretty fair. He's arguably a top five interior defensive lineman in the league right now. I don't think it's really much of a question. Um, they also went and signed John Frank Myers. Nice depth on that interior as well. They went and traded for Jermaine Johnson II. I think that was a pretty nice move. Get another edge rusher. They signed Troy Adams, which I think was really good too. Um, Signed Mitch Trubisky, nice backup. They did do also sign Darnell Robertson, which I forgot about that one. I mean, a bit of an overpay, especially Alante Taylor and where is the other one? Cordell Flute as well. There were overpays for sure, but I mean, we're talking about the roster here. We're not talking about what they should have paid and what they shouldn't. They did lose though some players though. For example, they lost. Why am I blanking? They lost Sebastian Joseph Day. They lost Arden Key. They lost Legere Sneed, Luke Cushenberry, and they also lost Kyler Urim. So they did lose depth pieces, really, but they didn't lose like an arm or a leg during the offseason. They didn't really lose that much, thankfully. So that's kind of a good thing, I will admit. And just looking at their roster, I mean, you kind of do have to think about, can Cam Moore be that guy? Obviously, he did not have a great season last year, mainly because of how horrible their team was. Throwing for over 3,100 yards, 15 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So basically, every 2 touchdowns he threw, one of them got, and then the next play, it's like an interception. Running back depth chart, I will admit that is probably the strength of this team. And I could not believe they were thinking about getting Jeremiah Love. Like, I'm not saying Jeremiah Love is a bad player. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is it's more of a luxury for them to go get something like that rather than go get like Cardinal Tate, which is what they end up getting, which I think was what they should have done with the first overall pick, fourth overall pick. If he's available, pick him. I don't really think there was much of a question there. Obviously, I know Arvel Reese was still available, which I would have not blamed them to pick him either. But I think Cardinal Tate was definitely the best pick for them. And now they have a pretty solid receiving corps with depth receivers Eric Armio and Cameron Dyke, while their starters being Cardinal Tate, Rondell Robertson, and Calvin Ridley. Their tight end position is very weak. Gunnar Helm is the best tight end on their roster as of currently. And he recorded 44 receptions, 357 yards. Sorry about that. My Chromebook randomly like turned on and stuff, so I did actually have to cut some of it out, unfortunately. Back to where I was saying though. Gunnar Helm, obviously, with all the receiving yards and receptions, they also scored 2 touchdowns. Just not the greatest tight end position. They also went and signed Daniel Bellinger, which I forgot about. Not a great player either. Their offensive line, I mean, I think Peter Skronsky, very good guard. J.C. Latham, hope that he could develop in his year 3. But I'm not a big fan still of his offensive line, I will admit. Defensively, they went and actually trade up in the draft, got Kedrick Falk in the first round. I think this was also a very good move. Would have preferred them probably to go get someone like Arvel Reese, but I don't hate getting Kedrick Falk either. And, I mean, they got a kind of a nice defensive line here. Jermaine Johnson, Big Jeff, and John Franklin Myers. That's some nice depth. Or just a nice, solid starting defensive line. Also, Anthony Hill Jr. as a linebacker, they drafted. I think it was a nice addition, too. Cody Barton's solid. Cedric Gray is all right. Like, they do have an all right, I think, linebacking core, with their secondary being Marcus Harris, Alontae Taylor, Kevin Winston Jr., who they drafted, I think, last year. Amani, not even pronouncing their last name, and Cordell Flute. They also have Troy Adams in the back as well for depth purposes. Very just, like, overall, like, depth-wise, good secondary. Now, this team doesn't have a lot of talent. I think we can all agree on this. This team is not very talented at all. But, I mean, if some players can break out here and there, this team could be potentially a sneaky team this year. Like, part of me really wants to say this could be the New England Patriots this year, but it's just hard for that to happen when your team is just not the greatest. I do like the coaching hires that they made. Hiring Robert Saleh was a really good move. I still think he is better than their current head coach, which is Eric Glenn. And they also went and hired Brian Dable, who I know just got fired by the Giants, but he was in a very bad situation from the start. And the fact that team even made it to a playoff game, despite with Daniel Jones at quarterback, is insane to me. Even though he has panned out pretty well in Indianapolis, to be granted. So let's go look at their schedule, and they have obviously the AFC South, which is a alright division. They also go in the NFC East, and they also go in the AFC North as well. So, not a great schedule, but they also go against the Jets, it seems, and they go against, what's the other wild teams they go up against? The Lions, it seems. So I guess let's start off with the floor. If everything goes wrong, here is what it's going to happen. I think they do get swept up by every team in their floor. Except the Colts, I think. The Colts, I think they get one win off, but that's about it. I think the rest of their division games, they will lose. Unfortunately speaking, I just think that's kind of just what's going to happen. But I do think you will win they will win week 1 against New York, but then they will lose on the road lose at home against Philly. On the road against the Giants, they lose. On the road against Baltimore, they lose. Then they will win at home against Cleveland, but they will lose on the road against Cincy. And then they will lose 3 games straight, which 2 of them are Jacksonville, and then the other one on the road against Dallas. Do they win against the Commanders at home? I don't think they do. I think it's a bit of a push. They will lose to the Lions on the road. They will even lose to the Raiders on the road, and I think they will also lose to the Steelers at home, putting their floor at 3-14, which I think was even worse than they have when they season at the first overall pick. But that's just me. Then their ceiling, I just think they will win week 1. I don't think they're gonna win week 2 though. Still, I think you'll beat the Giants on the road. You still lose to the Ravens on the road. I do think you will at least split the series with the Texans this time and Jacksonville. So that's an extra 2 wins, and you will sweep the Colts. So, at least you got something going. You will still beat the Browns at home. I think you will actually beat the Bengals on the road. Bye week, you still lose to the Cowboys on the road. You will beat the Commanders at home. You will still lose to the Lions on the road. Beat the Colts at home. You'll beat the Raiders on the road, and I think you'll beat the Steelers at home, putting their record as their ceiling at a whopping 11-6. That is not nearly maybe enough to win the division, but it's pretty close. And that's a pretty darn higher ceiling. That's a higher ceiling than I really thought they would have, honestly, looking at this. Not saying that as a bad thing. Like, again, this team has potential if everything goes well. If Cam Moore could be a great player and Cardinal Tate could just light off the scenes in his rookie year, as I think a lot of people think he could, this team can genuinely be a good team. It's just a matter of now, can they just pull those pieces together? I think their defense could be pretty solid this year, with obviously Robert Saleh at helm, but that's just me. And again, people could absolutely disagree with me with some of these takes and stuff. And remember, I'm not saying this to be like a biased Titans fan, which I am not, by the way. I'm looking at their schedule and I'm thinking, okay, as their ceiling, do I think this team is better than this? That is what I'm thinking of. And you also got to think there probably will be some occasions of upsets and stuff, just to think as well. But anyways, guys, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Again, comment down below if you don't like this stuff. But if I don't get any comments, like, you guys got to communicate here. If you like this, comment down below. If you don't like this, comment, because I will switch back if you guys want me to. I'm just not a big fan of it. But anyways, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.